Christy, a certified life and mindset coach. And I have been working for almost 2 decades as a HR, and then slowly I started progressing because what I felt was I was dealing with more of my resumes and designations, but what I really felt was a more of personality development that need to make and not of resumes. So this is a quick introduction about myself. So this is where I have become, from a master's in business administration, I moved on to helping into the coaching journey. So what I felt was, if I have to teach someone, then I need to know how to teach, right? So that's how I got into developing myself, and I got all these specific trainings from all the world-class trainers. To name a few, my mentor is Shruti Chaudhary, and I got myself trained as an NLP trainer as well as an inner core value trainer, as well as I've been certified by Blair Singer. He's one of the topmost person in the training industry, and also by Mac Attram and Thaddeus Lawrence. So this is a brief introduction about myself. Yes? Great. So let's dive into the session for today. Yes? Great. And whatever is going to be the interaction, let's, start interacting on the chat box. And the code of honor, let's not be judgmental about anyone. Everyone are in the different journey of their life. And let's not be like, she's talking like that, or he's saying that, and, is it like really necessary? Let's not be judgmental. Everyone are in their own different journey. So let's keep the space as a non-judgmental space, and let's be very respectful in our thoughts as well. Okay, so let's keep our energy high, and please reserve your questions as and when I'm talking. If you have any questions, please write down in your notebook, and towards the end, I'll answer all your questions. Okay, so that we have the flow. Yes, are you all right with this? Okay, so let's be very mindful about the timing as well. Okay. So with that, let's move on to today's session. Over the next 5 days, we are going to not add more pressure to your life. All right. We are just thinking about how to remove the emotional noise so that we can start thinking clearly and respond calmly and choose yourself much more with confidence. All right. There's nothing called like right emotions or wrong emotions. All right. So today, let's focus by the first thing saying that awareness is the first step for you to change. Okay. And what is emotions? Emotions are nothing but your energy in motion. All right. What kind of an energy are you giving for each particular set of emotions? All right. Let's be very mindful about what kind of an energy are we giving to each and everything that is happening in our daily life. So when there is a trigger, say for example, today there is a trigger, how are you responding, and what is the outcome after that? This is what we are going to see. So this is the energy, and this is your emotion, and what kind of an emotion are you going to give for that particular event which is happening around you? All right. Okay, let's begin. How are we going to handle a emotion? Okay, like say for example, you are just going into the office. All right, you see a very bad mail from your boss. How do you feel? My God, I just came today, and how this man has just responded is just like made my entire day upset. So but you can respond in a much more better way, and are we going to carry that for the rest of our day? Matters a lot. Okay, so if we can create, the event has already happened. Your event is the what your boss has sent you as a mail. Yes, and your response is you're really upset about it. But what you can do, what is going to be your outcome? Either you start thinking, chuck, 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 I have not done this, you did this, you this. Do you want to start easily blaming them, or you want to start typing each and everything? Or you can very much change your response. I know you are getting upset, but can we hold on our emotions for some more time, pause for a while, and then after 5 or 10 minutes, can we respond in a more professional way? He sent me all these things, so I will also give him back. No. If you can explain in a much more better way, and if the same person is in the office, then you can just tell him, say, see, these are the things I would like to come and discuss with you. And then you can always change the way that your response is in a much more better way, because it is easy to go and talk to them face to face than sitting and typing a lengthy mail. But as HR, I always tell them, record the conversations. It's always better to send out in a mail, because as a HR, we always have this feeling everything can stand as a witness. So it is better for you to write down, these are the things that I would like to talk to you, and if the person is there, you go and talk face to face. If not, you can always call them and speak to them. So the event is happening. what is going to be your response and how your outcome is. Yes, in this way, you can balance your event and your outcome. Because if you are going to show again, like say, for example, in a household day, you're starting so much in a hurry, you're just starting to the office, whereas your child has just, poured the milk down, or they just, missed the water bottle or something. Instead of shouting and screaming at the child, and the child is also starting to cry, what can happen? You get upset, oh, I screamed at my child, and you're carrying the same set of emotions, the guilty emotion, in your office, and then you're wondering, has my child become better in the school? I shouldn't have spoiled my child's morning like that. So this is the event and this is your response, and your outcome has become like you are feeling guilty the entire day. Instead, you have spilled the milk, or you have, poured the water. It's okay, darling, can we all clean it together, because we are both are in a hurry. I know it takes a lot of effort for us to practice, but then is it a possibility that we can see what is happening around us, the event? We don't have a control. The event will happen, but our response can be controlled, and our emotion can also be, the outcome can also be changed. Yes. So let's, today whatever you're getting is just an awareness. All right, it takes a lot of time for us to practice and become a little more perfect. Everything cannot be changed overnight. All right, so whatever, I'm doing like this, I'm doing like that, it's not possible, I have done this. Let's not get into a guilt trip, because that's actually not going to help us at all. So let's make a conscious effort. I know to pause only, everybody has a problem. We immediately react, and then we are carrying so much of guilt. Yes. So let's be very mindful about the time that we are taking. Okay. See, for example, I'm telling you to hold this bottle of water in your hand for 5 minutes. 5 minutes, you're great. I'm telling you to hold this for 5 hours. What happens? Your hand starts to hurt, right? You're just not able to handle. It's the same bottle with full of water. The water has not changed, the bottle weight has not changed. But why? Because you're holding it for 5 hours. And that's what has brought you the pain. Correct? So, what you can do with the same set of emotions, if you are going to keep on holding it for a longer time, it is going to hurt you more. Do you want to get hold of the same emotion and carry over the weightage for such a long time, or you want to not burn out your energy and get over it soon? There's something like, always as women, we always have, I'm not sure if there is a man in this group, but I'm not generalizing any kind of people here, but generally as women, always we always have a bitter feeling, right? My mother-in-law told me like that, my father-in-law told me like that, my sister-in-law, how dare she talks to me like that? And when this event happened 10 years before, hello, 10 years into 365 days, you kept reliving again and again, you're creating that instance. Why do we have to hold that baggage? Yes, Priyanka, you're correct. Absolutely. You're holding that baggage, you're creating that pain, and you're holding it for so long. So, can we let go of them, for not for them, but for our peace? Can we forgive them, not for themselves, but for our peace? Yes, because most of us are holding it for 10 years, 20 years. Many of us, like, on the day of our marriage, he spoke to me like that. On the day of this one, how dare she spoke to me like that? I kept quiet because the marriage has to happen. All these things we are doing in front. But let me ask you one thing. Did that serve you the purpose for the above 20 years, what you have been reliving? Nothing, right? It's only the energy that is getting drained. And what, as women, what happened? We are telling X, Y, Z, all the people around us. But is it serving you? Is it serving any purpose? No. We want to change others, right? But today I will tell you, instead of fixing each and every one around you, it's better you start fixing yourself. When you start fixing yourself, everyone around you will start changing themselves. See, for example, when as a woman, you are the person who has to keep the energy of the house. If you are so positive, if your energy is very high, the family has to change. The set of people around you will have to change, because there's no choice for them. Because what happens is, let me tell you, when I started the coaching journey, slowly I started realizing there's no point in gossiping the same thing over and over again. I started keeping myself quiet. So when my friends were interacting and everything, I used to keep quiet. I'm like, okay, fine. And then one, like, I'm like, can we talk something else? And why you have to carry this and all that? So what happened was, there was a set of friends who started moving away from me. Why this girl is like always talking like a nerd? She has become like a sannyasi. She's giving always gyan. There's one set of people who always want to move away. And there is one set of people who cannot move away. like your immediate circle, your husband, your children, your spouse. If there's a man in the group, your spouse, they cannot move away. And when they start talking negatively, what happens is immediately I will advise, don't talk like this. Can you talk the language of love? So whenever my husband is like telling something, why did you do it? And I'm like, Perry, can we talk the language of love? And now he knows that if he is going to talk something negative, I'm going to talk like that. So forcefully he's changing himself because he knows that I will start advising. Whether he likes it or not, that's a different thing. But he has become mindful himself. Likewise for my same with my children. If I'm going to tell her something, Hama will start advising. Let me not tell her only anything negative so that she keeps her mouth shut. As teenagers, no children are like, very happy about, advising them. They feel that they know everything, right? So in that way, it is better for us to keep ourselves changed instead of trying to fix each and every one around us. Because when you change, people around you will start changing. Okay. So let me quickly talk about what are the emotions that generally as people we are facing today. Because what happens is an emotion that is not understood, it becomes a pattern. Okay, like for example, when you feel guilty, that guilt is being carried out. You want to tell a no, you are very tired, but still you start saying yes. And end of the day, you are doing this as a repeated pattern. Your thoughts becomes your pattern. And what happens is when your thoughts are always like that, that becomes your pattern. You start overgiving, and finally, end of the day, you become so tired that like, why am I going through all this thing? Why am I doing this? You are asking yourself at the end of the day, but still you don't want to stop it yourself. So where is that emotional boundary that you would like to draw? So over the upcoming sessions, I will be covering that. But let's be very mindful, because what happens is that one emotion of yours, you're not able to hold it, and that is creating a thought, and that becomes a pattern. Like say you always want to say no, but you are telling yes, and you are becoming an overgiver. And later you start finding, why am I doing this? I am always doing this for my family, but my family is not responding to any of this. So let's be very mindful about what we are doing. Understand one thing, it's never about the problem of your life, it's how badly you are attached to the problem. So who is stopping you from coming out of the problem is another question. And always there are my clients who always tell, ma'am, I will be happy when I get the job. Great. Okay. What else? When my husband stops drinking, I will become very happy. Okay. Next, I will get very happy. I will be very peaceful only when I clear my XY amount of debts. So why is it are we creating a condition for us to live happy? Happiness is a state of our mind, right? How do you want to keep your energy? You're sitting and reliving again. My husband is drinking. I have to find a job. I have to keep looking out, like I have to, clear my debts. Instead of sitting and focusing on all that, what is that one step of action that you would like to take? What is that one step that you want to move ahead to stop your husband from drinking? What is the effort that you have taken? That is what matters, because we are not here to sit and look out for all these things. And let's not keep our energy tied up with this kinds of conditions. I will become happy only with this happens. When you start becoming happy and when your energy is so positive, everything around you has to change, and it will change. Only the positivity. When the women of the house is happy, the entire energy of the house is happy. Yes, say a thumbs up. So as a woman, we are the ones who are creating the happiness. When you change your emotion, you change your being. When you change your being, you change your doing. And when you change your doing, you change what you're having in your life. And that's the game of energy. Yes, great. If I'm missing any chats, please don't mind me because I'm going in an entire flow. And if you have any questions, please park it towards the end. Definitely, in my professional capacity, I would like to answer all your questions. Yes, great. All right. So, what is the fact that is happening, and what is the story that you would like to create, and what is the drama that you are carrying? Because there is a fact which is happening. What is the kind of a story you would like to attach to it? If it is a negative story, you are going to become another drama queen. And we are the drama queens of our life. What is the kind of a story that we are creating matters a lot. Because when your story is going to be negative, you are going to attract the same negativeness in your life. But what kind of a positivity, that makes a difference. And there is a client of mine who always has a fear. Okay, so the first core emotion what I would like to talk about is fear. The definition of fear I would tell as false evidence appearing real. Fear is just an anticipation of a thing which does not exist. It is just we are attaching to it. What if? So, quick thing about a story. Do I have the permission, please? Yes, thank you. So, what happens is one of my clients, when she's traveling with her family, she's very happy. But if she's traveling alone for about 10, 12 hours, after 1 hour, her anxiety picks up. She always comes and tells me, Christy, when I'm sitting with the family, I feel very comfortable. But if I am traveling alone, my anxiety picks up very high after 1 or 2 hours. What if this happens? What if this flight crashes? What if? What if I fall sick? What if I die? I said, why you should die? Why this flight should crash? Why are you thinking so negative? So after 2 hours, what happens is her body only starts responding with so much of anxiety. And when there's so much of anxiety, what happens is again we are thinking, what if this happens? What if that happens, right? But the same body is very happy when the entire family is there. So is it okay that the flight can crash when the entire family is there and it should not when you are there? It's completely what if, right? And what happens when you're picking up so much of anxiety in the flight? A smallest of the turbulence, you feel like it will crash. So even if there is a turbulence, our life only is like a turbulence layer, right? And for all the parents who have teenagers, our life is like a roller coaster, right? We are like, we are not knowing how to handle the children. We are only facing a roller coaster. A simple matter, it's okay. Even if there is a turbulence, it's all right. Be calm, be positive, say, okay, this will end soon. We are trusting the pilot or the God, whichever God that you're praying. So keep that way. In that way, it helps you to stay calm. Your palpitation becomes normal, and it is an indirect way that you're you are into a negative vibration and so much of negativity, and that is affecting your health also indirectly. Yes. And how many of you here do a master checkup with lots of frightened thoughts? If your camera is not open, you can please type. Yes. Thank you, Gayatri. Thank you for being so honest. Okay. Let me tell you, it is there. Any kind of master checkup, when we are going only, we are having all the negative thought and we are going there. What if I have cholesterol? What if I'm being marked as a diabetic? What if this disease? What if that disease? Instead of what if, can we start having an outlook of even if? Even if I have diabetic, what is the lifestyle am I following? Where is it I am slumping in my diet, or am I not doing the exercise? Okay, my cholesterol levels are showing up. What is the ways that I can do it? That is the way we need to start thinking. And when you are going with that kind of mentality, only what happens is, even when everything is normal, everything starts shooting up in your blood work, because we are going with that kind of energy, right? Because we are already so scared. And what happens is our emotions are already playing all the kind of impact in our health. So what happens is, when you are only in a highest thing, your sugar levels also tend to rise because you're already tense, right? So when you're going for a medical checkup, it's all right. I am doing it to know that if everything is fine, and even if something is not wrong, let me think over that what can be improved either in my health or in my diet, or what next. So try to start focusing that way. So whenever there is a fear, it is okay, feel the fear and always name it. Why am I having this fear? What is the one which is creating this fear in my mind? When you start penning it down, sometimes it looks really silly. Am I fearing for such a silly thing? It's all right, let me start moving on. This is how we are moving ahead in life. Yes, are we good? Great. And what happens? The next one is our anger. Fear, anger, doubts, these three comes like a package. All right. So what happens? Next one is our anger. Anger is something you have an expectation on a person, and when that expectation is not being met, that's how the anger crops in. So you have an expectation. So what is your expectation? Are you having a realistic expectations? Like, say for example, many of our parents always have a problem when the child is coming with low marks. So the first thing what we are doing, we are screaming at our children. It's not that I'm also not doing. Sometimes, yes, I do go off the, my patience level. But then after some time, I'm like, okay, let me, cool down. I'm just seeing the paper. I'm just keeping it aside. Okay, let me just cool down for a while and then let me get back to it. Okay, but what happens generally is, oh, friends ella enna mark edtanga again, and then next is the sibling. Your sister is doing this, your brother is doing this, you are not the only one who are doing it, right? Again, we start comparing them, and then we start having a doubt on our identity itself. Am I a good mother? And when, especially when you're a working mother, we go on a major guilt trip. Probably, I'm not giving that kind of a time, and that's why my child has gone down in the studies, right? So let's be thoughtful about what are we thinking about ourselves in terms of it. And then what happens is, this mark has created a fear, and your fear has turned into an anger. So your expectations plus fear equals to your anger. Like, say for example, you're going into your office, your team did not deliver as per your instructions. Did you communicate to them properly? Have you given each and every instruction to them? If not, where did the mistake happen? Did you do a follow up? Because generally what happens when you just delegate the work and you're just doing it, and then the person did not do it, immediately we get so irritated. Why the hell he didn't even do the simple thing? We start blaming, because blaming and complaining is a very easy one that everyone can make, because that is just a protection mechanism. We are like, okay, let me blame her and let me play my part safe. But have you instructed your employees properly? If not, where did you lag behind? Okay, I have made this part as a mistake. Now, can we as a team, can we sit and finish this project? So what kind of a help that you want to do? Instead of sitting and shouting and screaming at them, you think the work is going to be done? No. What are they going to do? Again, they're going to do this only to you, right? So create a space that, keep your anger in control, because event will happen, but the response can be controlled by you. Yes? Hello? Are you all there? Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. So the next one is going to be your doubt. Doubt and fear are like besties. Okay. And these two come when you want to explore an unknown territory. Like, say, for example, when you want to go into a training program, these two comes there. Will I be able to do the training program at the age of 40? Will I be able to do this? So they come like a package. Yes. But when we are watching series after series in Netflix, do you all have any kind of pain? Do you have any kind of thoughts? Yes? No? Absolutely. We are very comfortable because that's your comfort zone, right? You're not making any decisions there. You're very happy to watch each and every episode. Only thing is like, hey, what's going to happen next? And sometimes it's like series after series we are just watching, and we are not even knowing what is the time that we have crossed. Yes. So why not the same thing when it comes to your own life, and when it is an unexplored territory? Again, we start looking at why this, why not this, what happens, what if. So instead of what if, start changing into even ifs. Because even if there is this thing which has happened, let me see what is the best way that could be worked for. Yes, hello. Okay, I'm going to be teaching you the simple things. And general, one more example, all the women out here, they talk to me. My spouse doesn't help. Okay, your spouse is not helping, but did you ask him? No. I said, what stopped you from asking? Why should I ask? Why can't you ask? And they say, why should I ask? He's seeing me working in the kitchen, running, giving a bath to my child. Why can't he come and do something? So, what stopped you from asking? Is it your ego? If it is your ego, please start working on yourself, my dear, because ego has no role to play in a relationship. And especially in marriages, if you really love the person, if you really love your children, you can lose 100 times to them if your love is so precious for them. Let's keep our ego aside, because there is no, some pop up came, I'm sorry. Okay, so there is something like, keep your ego aside. And whenever there's someone who's constantly irritating you or who constantly belittling you, in the sense, they tell in Tamil, right? Matam tattite irukkirathu. They always pull your energy down. They always do it. Please tell yourself in your mind, it reflects on their character and it has got nothing to do with you. It shows about them. It speaks about them. I have got nothing to do with it. Keep your energy high. Whatever they are going to talk behind your backs, keep your energy high, because, and tell yourself, it shows your character and not mine. I am not that character. But if I am also going to reflect in the same way, then again there is a question mark. Where is your frequency? What is your vibration? What you want to pick from them? Then all these things starts coming. Right? So whenever there's something who's belittling you, who's talking bad of you, because generally there is one pleasure in pulling the other partner down, but it shows his character. Probably his brought up has been like that. He or she has seen their mother or the father, mocking at each other. but what is it that you want to show to your children? What is the reflection that you want to do with your future? That matters a lot. What is the kind of an energy that you want to give to them? He is talking like that, let it be. He does not want to help, then you find a way to delegate the work. If you cannot do the work, please look out for a person whom you can delegate the work. And if you are a working parent, then please find a way to get a help from someone else. I will do everything because they can't do it. They will not be perfect. It will be messy. Success is messy. Today I'm sitting here, I'm not sure what my cook is doing there. And if I'm going to expect her to cook in my taste, that is just not going to happen. Whatever she has made, I'm thankful to her. Like, okay, when I go out, my food is ready on the plate. That's it. But if I'm going to think that she has to cook like me or my mother, that does not happen. Success is messy because there is a system, right? If you don't want to ask, please ask your husband. And still, if he feels your spouse cannot help you, then you start focusing on where you can delegate your work. Find a helper, do it. And don't keep telling, I'm doing all the work, I'm doing all the work. He is not doing anything. Why is that expectations from you? So don't do that. And now I will teach you a simple technique. Always pause, name your anger, name your emotion, and then choose. So when you start writing it down, this is my upset, or you're angry or something, whatever is your emotion, just pause and then write down and what best can be it. Because what happens is your awareness creates an it interrupts your autopilot. Autopilot is something like, is not who you are. It's just a habit your nervous system has already built in it. So what happens when you start having an awareness? It creates a pause, and that pause gives you a choice, and that choice can change your outcome. All right. The next method, a simple one, what I can tell you is a 90-second rule. Are you all there with me? Type in the chat box. Yes, no, yes. Okay, great. 90-second rule. All right. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so what is a 90-second rule? What happens is when you have an emotion that is triggered, like say, what is your emotion? Your anger, your fear, or whatever. What happens is the body has starting to give a chemical reaction that lasts about 90 seconds. 90 seconds is nothing but 1.5 minutes. And after 90 seconds, what happens is that emotion starts to settle down. Unless we want to keep that thought alive. We want to start fueling, add all more story into it, and make a drama out of it. If your emotion is very short, your suffering is optional. But if you want to replay the story, you want to judge it, and you want to imagine what if, you're re-triggering that 90 seconds again and again. And that small incident, it ruins your entire day. So what would you like to do for the next 90 seconds? Don't fix that emotion, don't fix that emotion. Just breathe and keep yourself calm, which is very difficult. It's very difficult in the beginning, but it is okay for you to take that kind of time, and then you start reacting. Because when your response is going to be better, your outcome, which is your peace, you have shouted at your child, but what happens to your peace? The entire day after the child leaves to the school, you're carrying a guilt trip, or you're apdi sollitane. And the same thing is happening with our spouses as well, right? He only told me this. I should have kept quiet. Why do you have to carry that? And the entire day we keep replaying the same thing again and again. Correct. So instead, let's be very mindful about how we want to carry our emotions throughout the day. And whenever you're so stressed and you think that, you just cannot take any kind of a decision, please walk out. It is always better to just move away from that situation. Go for a small walk, drink some water, listen to some music, distract yourself. Probably after 15 or 20 minutes, you will get back to your senses. Okay, let me tell you one very simple thing here. When your emotions are high, your intelligence is at the lowest level. Keep that in mind. When your emotions are very high, you're so stressed, you're so angry, you're so frustrated. And what happens? Your intelligence level is just negligible. And when in that intelligence, when it is so low, whatever decision that you're going to make, it is going to become a disaster. It will be a disaster. So when your emotions are high, you just tell yourself, or you can tell the person also, I don't think I'm in a mental capacity to talk to you right now. Let me take a break and let me come back. That is much more better than to just speak randomly and then you want to carry over the guilt for the rest of the day. It is always better that you can start behaving like this. Yes. And so today we have, I think I have overshot the time as well. So today we have got an awareness about how to regulate our emotions. We are not trying to fix, we are not trying to judge. It's just an understanding that I have given you. And we have to keep practicing consciously so that we can become a master of our emotions. And there is one more thing, always I tell to my clients, no amount of doing can compensate the misalignment of your being. Okay, how much ever I keep doing, doing this, I'm doing that, and always you have an expectation, my husband should appreciate, my children should appreciate, my wife should appreciate, whatever it is. Let's not be thinking about who will appreciate me. You're doing your work, right? So always when you are in a misaligned state, you cannot change anybody around you. And when you are misaligned yourself, and when you are carrying all such negative emotions, what happens is it's the same thing that happens as a pattern. So let's think about how am I doing this henceforth. Okay, so from tomorrow we are going to, now that we know how to handle our emotions, I have just see there are so much of emotions, but I've just handled only the three, which is like, very much all of us need to know. So from here I would like to take tomorrow about the awareness about in our relationship, how to handle our emotional patterns, how can we communicate, and what is the expectation and communication that we can have with our relationships, the near and dear ones. All right, so thank you so much, and type in the chat box, how was the session today? Super. Thank you, Christy. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you, for your wonderful feedback. So looking forward to start up the session on time tomorrow. And always keep in mind, if we want to create this time, the 30 or 40 minutes, we can create the time. But how badly you want it, that's how will come and make you sit here also on time, right? And I would like you to start having these affirmations. Okay, please write it down if you want. I take 100% responsibility of my emotions. Please write it down, because today we will have everything overnight, we will be able to remember. But then what happens? Tomorrow we tend to forget. Yes, I take 100% responsibility of my emotions. I am the creator of my happiness. I trust the process of life. Everything is working perfectly for me in the divine time and in the divine order. So today, if it is not working, it is for your God's preparation for you to get something better. Today, if it's not working also, it is for you to get something really better later. Okay, so let's not be like looking out for a time why this is not happening, why that is not happening. Let's not be like looking and all that. Whatever is happening right now, what has the lesson that I have learned? This thing has happened, this is how I have responded, but what is the lesson have I learned from this? And am I trying to make a change, or am I repeating it? Because when you're repeating the same thing, it becomes another pattern, right? So try not to repeat it. Make a conscious effort. It takes time, it takes a lot of time. But then once if you're able to realize that pattern, you can start focusing on how to become. Yes. Okay. Is there any questions? No. All right. Great. Anger is so much in rage. How to pause? When you're angry, it's okay to take a control of that particular situation. Nothing happens if you can pause. Either you want your emotion to override you, or you want you to be the control of your emotions. Say, for example, if you're working in an office, your boss is shouting at the peak of his voice. Will you keep quiet and listen to him, or will you be talking back? Right? And this kind of an anger and rage, whom are you showing? Please ask yourself, to whom is that anger being shown to? If you're showing to a person who is your subordinate, then probably you have to start working where you can only talk to a person who is below. And whenever there's such a kind of a rage of anger, we start spitting our venom in kind of words. End of the day, what are you receiving? What is the feeling that you have from within after talking all that thing? How can when we start looking at ourselves, how do you feel about yourself? I have spoken like that, oh my god, I feel so bad, I feel so miserable, right? So this is a kind of a thing that we are going to carry. Even if you're angry, it is better to leave that place. That is what I would suggest. Take some fresh air, or just walk away from the place. But please tell the person, right now I'm not in a position to answer you back, but I will come back. That is the way that you can have a control on that. And one thing, dear, always make sure your emotions are not taking control of you. You must be in a position to take control of them. Yes. Does that answer your question? Yes? Thank you. All right. So, is there anybody else? Any other questions? What was the other way to control our emotions other than the 90 seconds rule? See, that I was talking about a reality check. What is that check that you are doing? If you are able to understand what is it and what is the trigger that has happened, and when you start reflecting and when you start noticing, then you will only feel like, why did that trigger happen and what happens. That expectation check, you will know whether it was worth your time and energy for it. You were so angry for over a simple thing. Yeah, got it. Great. Okay, Fasiha, your session was very clear. Thank you, Fasiha. Thank you so much for your kind words. Yes. All right. So tomorrow, I think there's no more questions being asked. So tomorrow we'll all catch up. Same sharp time, 6 o'clock, and we will have a revisit on how to balance our emotions with respect to our relationships. Yes. Great. All of you have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for being here. Matters a lot to me. God bless you all, and let's be on time for tomorrow as well. Yes. Thank you.